The 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class is more than just a refresh, it's the most refined and technologically advanced iteration of the compact luxury sedan yet. For years, the C-Class has been the sweet spot in Mercedes' lineup. Not as bulky as the E-Class, more mature than the A-Class, and nowhere near the price tag of the S-Class, the C has always tried to balance performance, tech, and prestige. And for 2026, Mercedes has taken that formula and gone deeper. This isn't just about adding a few new features and slapping on some chrome. No, what we have here is a thoroughly evolved machine, both inside and out. Let's talk design first. At a glance, the C-Class maintains the athletic silhouette we've seen from recent years, but you'll quickly notice a few sharper, more aggressive touches. The front fascia has been resculpted with thinner, sleeker LED headlights and a grille that sits wider and lower, borrowing cues from the AMG GT lineup. It's still unmistakably a C-Class, but with a presence that pushes it closer to the segment's sportier side. Around back, you get thinner taillights with a new light signature, and depending on your trim, either chrome accents or a more blacked-out, sport-oriented finish. The overall look is more muscular but without being too shouty. It doesn't need to scream because it's confident. The standard wheels start at 18 inches, but upper trims come with 19s or optional 20s, giving the C-Class a wider, planted stance. Aerodynamics have been tweaked as well, with active grille shutters and a redesigned underbody, all working together to boost fuel economy and reduce wind noise at speed. Now the platform, it's still riding on the MRA2 architecture that debuted a few years ago, but for 2026 it's been refined with additional rigidity and reduced weight in key areas. That translates into sharper dynamics without compromising ride comfort. And that's important, because the C-Class has always walked the line between executive cruiser and backroad bomber. Powertrains. Here's where it gets interesting. The base engine is still a 2.0-litre turbocharged inline-4, but now it comes with a mild hybrid 48-volt system across the board. Output is bumped up slightly, 255 horsepower and 295 pounds-to-feet of torque, but with the EcoBoost system, you get an additional 20 horsepower and 150 pounds-to-feet in short bursts. It's subtle, but enough to make merging and overtaking smoother and more responsive. For those who want more, the C300e plug-in hybrid continues with enhancements. Electric-only range is now over 75 miles thanks to a larger battery pack. Combined output sits around 308 horsepower, and the transition between gas and electric modes is nearly seamless. There's no C43 or C63 in this review, that's for another video. But what we're focusing on here is the volume model, the C300. And trust me, it's not just the entry level anymore. All models come with the 9-speed G-tronic automatic transmission. Shifts are fast, buttery smooth, and the logic is refined for 2026. Whether you're cruising or hammering through the gears, it always seems to know what you want unless you take over with the paddle shifters, which are tactile and snappy. Rear-wheel drive is standard, with Mercedes 4MATIC all-wheel drive system optional or standard depending on trim. The AWD system has been retuned for better torque vectoring, improving both cornering grip and winter capability. Now, let's get inside. Step into the cabin and you're greeted by what Mercedes calls their digital-first layout. It's a continuation of the vertical MBUX setup, but more refined. The centerpiece is the 11.9-inch LED central screen tilted slightly toward the driver with ultra-responsive touch controls and new haptic feedback zones that actually feel intuitive. Running the latest MBUX operating system, it supports wireless Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, natural voice recognition, And now even ChatGPT-powered voice interaction for more complex commands. Want to book a reservation, schedule maintenance, or ask about your car's settings? Just talk. It works better than most voice systems out there. Behind the wheel is a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster, reconfigurable to your liking. You've got classic, sport, navigation focused, and even a discrete mode that tones everything down for night driving. Materials are where the C-Class starts to punch above its class. You get real aluminium, open-pore wood, or piano black trim, depending on your configuration. The seats are redesigned for 2026 with improved lateral support, optional ventilation and massage, and extended thigh cushions. No longer just a small luxury sedan, the cabin feels full-on executive. Rear seat space is adequate, not huge but better than previous generations. Mercedes tweaked the seat profiles and floor height slightly to improve comfort for taller passengers. And the trunk? About 17 cubic feet. Enough for a weekend trip or a set of golf clubs without issue. Ambient lighting is expanded with more zones and brighter color rendering. And the Burmester 3D surround system, if you go for it, is phenomenal. The clarity, the depth, the spatial sound, it's not just for show. It truly elevates the experience, especially on longer drives. Driving dynamics. Let's break this down. The 2026 C-Class feels more composed than ever. Steering is sharp, if a bit on the light side, but nicely weighted in Sport and Sport Plus modes. The suspension uses passive dampers as standard, with adaptive dampers available. In Comfort mode, it soaks up road imperfections with ease. In Sport, it firms up without being jarring. Cornering is confident. Body roll is minimal, and the chassis feels balanced. It's not as lively as a BMW 3 Series, but it feels more refined and calculated. If you want to carve canyons, it'll do it, but what it really wants is to flow down a winding road or gobble up highway miles. There's also a new rear axle steering option, borrowed from the E-Class. At low speeds, the rear wheels turn opposite the fronts to shrink your turning circle. At higher speeds, they turn with the fronts for better stability. It's one of those features you don't notice until you suddenly find yourself making a U-turn in a tight alley with ease. Fuel economy has improved slightly, with the mild hybrid system doing a lot of work behind the scenes. Expect around 28 miles per gallon combined for the rear-wheel drive C300, and slightly less for the AWD. As for safety and driver assistance, Mercedes doesn't skimp. Standard features include forward collision warning with auto emergency braking, blind spot monitoring, and lane keeping assist. Step up to the driver assistance package and you get adaptive cruise with lane centering, traffic sign recognition, evasive steering assist, and route-based speed adjustment. It's semi-autonomous driving done right, calm, confident, and unobtrusive. Let's compare this to the competition for a second. The BMW 3 Series is still the driver's car of the group. It feels more direct and connected. But the interior? Not as luxurious. The Audi A4 is clean and understated, but its tech is lagging behind. Lexus is reliable, sure, but cramped and aging. Volvo S60? A beautiful alternative, but less engaging to drive. The C-Class? It threads the needle. It's not trying to outsport the BMW or outsoft the Lexus. Instead, it delivers a cohesive, premium experience. A car that feels worth the badge, even if you're not pushing it to the limit. Now let's talk price. The 2026 C-Class starts around $47,000 for the C300. Add 4matic, and you're looking at closer to $50,000. Load it up with premium, Pinnacle, and AMG line packages, Burmester audio, adaptive suspension, and it'll easily top $60,000. And here's the thing, it still feels worth it. Yes, it's a lot of money. But you're getting a lot of car. The tech, the craftsmanship, the engineering, it all comes together in a way that few in this segment can match. Is it perfect? Not quite. The touchscreen, while beautiful, still replaces too many physical controls. Climate settings, drive modes, even basic volume, you're often reaching and tapping when a simple knob would do. Also, the performance gap between the C300 and the upcoming C43/C63 may feel a little wide for some enthusiasts. But for the vast majority of buyers, the C300 hits the sweet spot. It's luxurious without being ostentatious. Quick without being aggressive. Smart without being sterile. And in a market that's increasingly turning toward SUVs, the C-Class reminds us why the luxury sedan still matters. So where does this leave us? The 2026 Mercedes-Benz C-Class isn't just a facelift or a tech upgrade. It's a statement. It says that even in a world dominated by crossovers and electrics, the compact luxury sedan still has a place when it's done right. And Mercedes has done it right. For those who care about driving, about design, about feeling something behind the wheel, the C-Class delivers. It might not be the flashiest or the fastest, but it's the most complete C-Class yet. This is the kind of car that makes you look back when you walk away. Not because it's loud, but because it's earned your respect. Quietly. Confidently. And that's the kind of burn we live for.